Where's my file? So he wanted to see if
Maybe this is from our side.
Just mute. Mute.
Good morning. Welcome once again, and apologies for the delay, technical reasons, and for now, it's been fixed, and colleagues online can join in this program. Without wasting much time, I'll call on Professor Felix Ankomah Asante, Pro Vice Chancellor, University of Ghana, Research, Innovation and Development, to give us an opening. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Good morning once again. The Provost's College of Basic and Applied Science, I can see our former Vice Chancellor, Prof. Cephas Adjei-Mensah, the Secretary General of ARUA, Professor Japan, is here. Distinguished faculty, both online and in-house. Our colleagues from the European Commission and its allied agencies, you are all welcome. Our colleagues from the ministry, MEST, you are welcome. And every participant to this important workshop. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor, I wish to welcome you once again. We should have wished to be here, but in an equally important program this morning. I'm sure in the afternoon program, for those who stay, you see the Vice Chancellor there. This morning, we are here for a workshop on Horizon Europe Africa Initiative 3. This workshop is very, very timely. There are three aims of this workshop. The first is to familiarize participants with the 2025 work program, to improve participant skills in preparing project consortia, and then three, highlight opportunities. I must say that University of Ghana currently runs about 14 European Commission projects. And I know some colleagues say applying for European Commission project is very, very cumbersome. But for every project where there's good money, the application is also cumbersome. I encourage colleagues also, and it's good that we are having this workshop, because faculty and researchers at times assume it is a responsibility of the finance person to make sure that the project goes through. But it's very, very important for faculty and principal investigators to also appreciate that the success of an European Commission funded project depends on how the principal investigator conducts its work. There are strict guidelines on the use of funds, strict guidelines on reporting, and I'm hoping that in this workshop, some of these guidelines will come out. And please, I plead with colleagues that we take this very, very important. There's a lot of funding and calls by the EC, and this is the time for us to take opportunity, especially when we know what is happening with USAID funds and other global funds. So this is an opportunity for us to scrutinize the calls and put in an effort. Now to the European Commission, for most of the time, we get the calls very, very late. At times, we get the calls through our colleagues in Europe. And I'm hoping that at the end of this workshop, we'll agree on the way in which some of these calls will receive it timely. For most of the calls that my research administration have been working on, we virtually work with deadlines. A week to the submission, a week to, and at times we really don't know the details of it. So I'm hoping that by the time we finish this workshop, we will appreciate the modalities and also have a system such that when the calls are out, we get a hint. It is no secret that some of our European colleagues even get an idea of the call before us. So like I said earlier, this is very, very timely, and please let's be attentive and ask all the necessary questions so that we'll have a very good, successful EU-funded project. But colleagues, this is a call. I know colleagues who've applied 2-3 times and they are not getting it. Please keep on. Use the comments that you receive to improve upon it. And I'm sure the first successful call, that will be a breakthrough. You appreciate what EU requires. And from then going, you will always be close to a success story in your call. So on behalf of the management of the university, I wish to welcome you all, and I wish you a very, very fruitful workshop. And I'm hoping that recommendations that will come out of this, including the training, attention will be drawn to it, and we'll see how best to implement it. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much, Pro VC. We will also want to take a message from the ministry. So we are happy to have here Dr. Cephas Adjei-Mensah, Director for Research at the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Dodoo, Pro VC, former Vice Chancellor, and Aroa President, distinguished invited colleagues, researchers over here, ladies and gentlemen. The Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology is pleased to be here this morning to join you on this very important side event as part of the ARISE conference for the Africa Initiative 3 workshop with a special focus on Ghana. On behalf of the Minister, I extend warm greetings and commend the University of Ghana and its partners for organizing this important engagement. Let me also acknowledge Laurent, the European Commission, and their team for the efforts that they are doing, especially so far as this initiative is concerned. It informs me that so far as the Horizon Europe project is concerned, Ghana is among the top 5 African countries who are doing very well, and I think that is quite commendable. And so this workshop is not just an orientation, but it's also a strategic platform that opens doors for Ghanaian and African researchers to become active contributors to global research and innovation. Horizon Europe Africa Initiative, as you are aware, with a budget of around 500 million euros, is a tremendous opportunity for African institutions to lead, co-create, and solve challenges that matter across health, climate, digital technologies, and inclusive growth. At the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, we strongly recognize that researchers need access to sustained, predictable funding to undertake the kind of research that transforms lives. Whether it's in agriculture, climate resilience, public health, or digital innovation, Ghanaian researchers are ready, but they must be supported. And so we are aware government has demonstrated its commitment to research through its efforts to operationalize the Ghana National Research Fund, which is currently underway. The fund administrator and the board has been put in place. This fund is designed to ensure that funding mechanisms are transparent, performance-driven, and focused on national priorities. It aligns closely with the science, technology, and innovation strategy for Africa, STISA 2034, and emphasizes building research infrastructure, professional competencies, and impactful innovation. We also know that impactful research must inform development policies and drive innovation across our sectors. And so government is therefore prioritizing investment, not just in funding, but in building systems and partnerships that can amplify the outcomes of research. Besides, we need to continue to have research networks focusing on interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary networks, and also connecting areas for our collective good. As MESI being a granting council, as some of us know that the Ministry is a science granting council made up of the 17 countries that took part in the initiative. To the west of Africa, we have Ghana, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, and Ivory Coast. Then to the eastern parts of Africa, we are looking at Uganda, Rwanda, Kenya, Ethiopia, and then Tanzania. Then Southern Africa, we have Zimbabwe, we have Malawi, we have Namibia, we have South Africa is both a participant and a funder at the same time. We have Botswana over there. We have colleagues from Mozambique and also Zambia, the team from the granting councils. It is clear that we need finances for research. There is appetite for research in various areas across the calls that we issue. We see the number of applicants, some that we are not able to fund them despite having submitted very good proposals that are relevant to our needs as a country. And so we cannot help but to continue to thank Horizon Europe for this kind of support, so that as researchers, once we begin to work closer, the partnership and networks, Prof. Cephas Adjei-Mensah and his team will be working very closely on quite a number of things, including other offices of research and innovation, and also office of grant and management within our public tertiary institutions and the private ones. Let me say that the goals under our national science, technology, and innovation strategies are quite ripe. That sustainable goals in African Union Agenda 2063, the Africa we want, that there are tools and platforms and insights to be shared, so that today on this EU funding and the tenders portal, the EURAXESS, that will be provided for us, for researchers, and the proposal development are key steps to expanding Ghana's participation in global science. In conclusion, let us leave here not only informed, but inspired to form consortiums, submit competitive proposal, and deliver research that makes a difference. MEST is a ready partner in this journey, and we are committed to building a robust and impactful research ecosystem in Ghana and across Africa. And so on this note, and on behalf of the ministry, I thank you very much for the opportunity to be here to open this conference. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Cephas, and for the assurance from the Ghana government as well. I want Yedilfana to tell us a few things. That is going to display some questions that we can put our expectations, after which we will talk with Professor Laurent onwards.
Let's see if you can display it on the screen. Excellent. So could you please scan this barcode and try to respond to just very few questions, simple questions. Which institutions are you representing? I hope most of you are from University of Ghana, but let's see. %100% from the university. Oh, now we got another one. From research center, from hospital, health center. Oh no, others. We will see what are these institutions. Very good. So it's not only university. Good to see this, this variety. Okay, let's move to the next active poll question. Yes. Have you heard of Horizon Europe? Very good. 50-50, 60-40. Excellent. Most of you already know about Horizon Europe. Okay, the last question, please, next. This is the last one. Have you participated in Horizon Europe and all its predecessors, Horizon 2020, the previous work program? Okay, still it's very good. So this is the importance of this event then. Thank you very much for your participation. David? Yes. Could you also display Dr. Laurent's presentation? Yes. David? Okay, I think it's for the interest of time, we should continue. Now, the next presentation will be made by Dr. Laurent Bochereau. He's a Minister, Science Counselor for Science, Technology, Innovation at the European Union Delegation to the Africa Union based in Addis Ababa. He will going to present the key presentation of today's workshop. The floor is yours, Dr. Laurent.
Thank you, Dr. Fana. Professor Felix, or his representative, Professor John, Dr. Cephas, Dr. Adem, all protocols observed. It's a great pleasure for me to be here. First time in Ghana, first time in Accra, first time at the University of Ghana, hopefully not the last time. I had just saw the results of the poll that few of you are familiar with Horizon Europe. It's a very large program. We claim this is the largest international research program in the world. So we hope that by the end of the morning, most of you will feel this is a program you can apply to. That's the goal, to make it understandable. We will have testimonials today from those who have participated, and I thank those for this. And I will start with a presentation to a bit set the scene. Why are we here? Why do we fund research in Africa? We are a European organization. So I will start by saying a few words on the policy framework. Why do we engage with Africa from the European point of view? Then I will describe our program, Horizon Europe. It's a 7-year program. We have just passed the halfway point. I will give you some statistical information about the participation of Ghana in the program so far, which is quite good. You top 5 among the African countries, but you can obviously do better. And that's the goal for today. And then I will mention other programs than Horizon Europe, like Erasmus+, and one of the testimonials today will be actually from someone participating in the Erasmus+ program. So that's for the quick overview. If I kind of the first slide, I will not bore you too much with the political statements and the overall situation. Or can you give me a pointer? Oh, it's coming. So we are celebrating this year the 25th anniversary of the establishment of a partnership between the African Union and the European Union. That was in 2000 in Cairo. 10 years later, at the 3rd summit between all heads of states, between the EU and the AU, we launched the so-called high-level policy dialogue on science, technology, innovation. That's 15 years ago, and we're celebrating this year the 15th anniversary of this. The goal is to exchange information about our respective priorities and identify opportunities to work together. So we started with establishing a bureau. So we meet every 2 months with representatives from member states and the 2 commissions. And quickly, we established platforms. We had already a very well running program on field of infectious disease. You will hear of this later, called EDCTP. But we launched another platform dealing with sustainable agriculture, food security. And then a third platform on climate change and sustainable energy. Those are the platform where we bring experts from both sides and representatives from the funding organization, and we identify the areas of mutual interest, which then feed into our calls for proposals and generate joint research projects. 2 years ago, we launched the so-called innovation agenda. The ministers from both continents agreed that it was time to put this research cooperation into action, into tangible products. And this was the goal of this 10-year innovation agenda that we are now trying to develop. We have regular hybrid webinars on issues of common interest, for instance, on IPR, on access to finance, or on specific areas. And we have a dashboard where we try to capture all the ongoing initiatives at EU level, at African levels, or between member states of both sides. So this is a live repository of all the initiatives, and you are all welcome to contribute to this as a mapping of all the ongoing activities. On the next slide, please. On the next one, can maybe have a, no, we can go on. That's what I just talked about, the innovation agenda. And if I can have the next slide, please. So now zooming onto our funding program, Horizon Europe, 7-year program, budget of 95 billion euro over the 7 years. That's just the funding provided by the 27 EU member states, but we have now 20 countries on top of that, which are associated to the program. That means they contribute financially pro rata GDP, and entities from those countries can participate with the same rights and obligation as any entities based in the EU. So we have countries around Europe, like the UK, Switzerland, Norway, the neighborhood, but we have also a country far away, like New Zealand, Canada, Japan, and we have also countries in Africa, currently Tunisia and Egypt, and discussion going on with other countries. So this program is structured around 3 pillars. The first pillar called excellent science, which is fully bottom-up. That means we don't indicate in which area we expect to receive research proposal. This is where we have the European Research Council, the Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions, and funding for research infrastructures. Not so much the building of new infrastructures, but mostly the access to existing infrastructures and the modernization of existing infrastructures. Then we have the pillar 2, which is top-down. We identify among the 6 clusters which are addressing the main societal challenges for Europe, but they are mostly global and they are aligned with the SDGs. Every year we identify topics for which we want to support research, and we have rather specific on what we are calling for, and this is what we will present later, the so-called Africa Initiative 3, which lists 24 specific topics for a budget earmarked of 500 million euro. And then we have a third pillar on boosting innovation. That's more startup creation and linking innovation ecosystems within Europe, but also between Europe and the rest of the world. If I can have the next slide. So a few words on the pillar 1, but you will hear more from my colleague Fana later on how concretely you can apply. 3 parts, again, fully bottom-up. First one is about funding very promising scientists, individual scientists. They can be from all over the world. The majority of the work has to be done in one of the EU or associated countries, but up to 50% of the funding can be spent or invested outside EU, for instance, in Africa. So we have African grantees. Most of them were already in Africa when they apply, but there is a possibility to apply with organization based in the EU or one of the associate countries being based here. If you have a double affiliation or an agreement that if you're selected, you will be hired by the research organization, university that hosts you. And you can keep your affiliation here, for instance, and as long as you spend more than 50% of your time in the EU-based organization. It's very competitive. There are 3 levels for young scientists, mid-career, and more experienced scientists, and the grants are between 1 and 3 million euro for individual scientists in all disciplines, from public health to agriculture, biotechnology, or social sciences and humanities. The second pillar, Marie Skłodowska-Curie Action, I will come back with the next slide about this. It's about training and mobility of scientists. And the third one is research infrastructure. So on the action for Marie Skłodowska-Curie Action, named after Marie Skłodowska-Curie, who, as you know, got 2 Nobel Prizes, the main actions relevant to people in Africa are on the top. First of all, doctoral networks, where we fund group of universities coming together to train 10 to 15 PhD students in areas which are emerging. So University of Ghana can be part of a proposal, which, if selected, will receive the consortium 10 to 12 PhD. So 1 could be, or 2 could be at the University of Ghana. And then you can select students who will do the PhD as part of this cohort of PhDs. The only condition is that the student, if you are one of the members of the consortium, has to come from outside Ghana. There is a mobility requirement. But you students, after a master's, can apply to be part of this doctoral networks and receive the PhD grant. And you will hear from EURAXESS how you can find those opportunities. So that's the doctoral networks. The second one is about postdoctoral fellowships. So it's again for individuals, and it could be people from here going to Europe or European coming here. It's a global fellowship competition for postdoc, and it funds 2 years. It funds also the host university and not just the salary of the postdoc fellow. And the third component, it's called staff exchange. So here we don't fund salaries and people, but we fund all the costs related to the networking. And it's bottom up. So the applicants are usually universities, research centers, possibly industries working in a promising emerging field. And the support covers all the short-term mobility, 1 month to 1 year, organizational workshops, summer schools, publication of newsletters, animating of the network on areas of increasing importance, completely bottom up again. So this is open every year. We have a deadline. If you don't make it 1 year, you can reapply, taking into account the comments you receive from the evaluators. And you are also welcome to apply to be an evaluator. We invite experts from all over the world to review the proposals, and it's based on the review that the Commission makes a funding decision. We never modify the ranking provided by the experts. So if I can move on to the next slide. I'm now moving to the core of the presentation, which is the Africa Initiative 3, which are the topics currently open for competition for consortium. We have 6 clusters, which are listed here, from health to food, bioeconomy, and agriculture. And you see that the budget for the 6 clusters, so for this pillar 2, is actually more than half of the total budget. So majority of our funding is going there. And this is where we also develop this cooperation with other funders across the world. Some of the funding is actually implemented through partnerships. And in the case of health, there is a big chunk of the funding that is provided to the EDCTP structure, which then help leverage further funding from EU member states, but also African member states. You will hear more about this from Professor John. But for all the others where we have similar partnerships, we have, on top of what this individual partnership do, because they usually organize the calls a bit differently from the rest of Horizon Europe, we have on an annual basis a call. Normally it's 1 budget year or 2 budget year. So the call that we had just published is for 1 budget year. And there will be at the end of the year, the last call for this current program, where we will cover the 2 last year. And there will be again, what we call Africa Initiative 4, where we will regroup all the topics for which we either require the participation of African partners or we strongly encourage them to apply. Kind of the next slide. So just in terms of evaluation of the proposal, we have a rate of success which is probably 15 to 20% overall, which is tough, but which not as tough that some other programs have. And for many parts of our program, there is always the possibility to resubmit. We have 3 main criteria when it comes to those clusters. First, excellence, meaning how the proposal is going beyond the state of the art and provide innovation, and also response to the terms of the call. And I will explain what I mean by that later. Second is the impact, because for this pillar 2, the various clusters, we really want to deliver impact. So it's not just funding research for research. It's research for providing concrete solutions. And thirdly, and very importantly, is the quality and the efficiency of the implementation, meaning how the different partners, and they can be all excellent individually, how do they work together? How are they going to provide the results and the solution to the ground? So if I can have the next slide, when we launched the Horizon Europe in 2021, we had a budget for 2 years for the first work program. And we identified then 36 topics with an earmarked budget of 350 million euro, where we made it either mandatory or strongly encourage participation of Africa. On the next slide, you will see the result, because this has now been evaluated and all the grants have been signed. And when we look at our statistics, based on those 36 topics, we actually signed 161 grants with African participants. In average, there are 2 African per grant. When you look at the number of individual organizations, 372 from 43 African countries. And the total funding going to Africa from the 350 million is 124 million. So not half of it, but a large part of the funding which was earmarked for those topics has actually gone to African-based partners. On the next slide, I would like to insist on the fact that participation of Africa is not limited to the topics listed under the so-called Africa Initiative. We have many other topics where we don't specify in the description of the call, we don't encourage specifically participation of teams based in Africa, but the consortia which are receiving the grants, which are winning the competition, do involve participation from Africa, because the rest of the consortium is looking for excellence, expertise, access to infrastructures, data. And when you look at the statistics, you see that in addition, for the 2 first years, 76 grants were signed with participants from Africa, total of 131, so a bit less than 2 this time, from 23 countries. And that's an additional 133 million euro that went to Africa-based entities. So in total, for the first 2 years, it's over 150 million, just for Horizon Europe. Now, for the second 2 years, we launched the Africa Initiative 2, where, again, we identified topics for which we were specifically encouraging participation of Africa-based entities for a budget of 300 million euros, just a bit less, but about the same. So those are, I will not show you statistical information because not all contracts have been signed yet, but we have the same trends. Now going to the Africa Initiative 3, you will see in my short description, in the next slide, please, that we have actually, next slide, please. We have actually 24 topics. It's 1 year this time, not 2 years. So we have 24 topics, so nearly as many as we had before, 30, 36, for 500 million. So it's nearly a tripling of the budget earmarked for the participation of Africa. So this is a slide about going back to the very first framework program, how the participation in Ghana in terms of financial return has grown. And you see how on the right, the current program, which is halfway, where we have already provided more than what was provided during the last 7-year program. On the next slide, I'm not sure what's the difference between the two, because that's actually, this one money and the other one number of participants. Okay, thank you. So this is funding, okay? And you see it's even more going up when you look, and I will show you more detailed information later. If I can have the next slide. So I will talk about African Initiative 3 after, I think. There's been changed the order. I don't think you can read very well, but that's, who is from University of Ghana here? Not so many people actually, but, oh yeah. But you see the first bar at the top is University of Ghana. So what is the total amount? It's 11.5 million. And then you have Kwam University of Science Technology. Are people from, no, they're not here? Online, okay. So congratulations to the online participant. And I will not continue, but it's also, I like to show this because they're always challenging the participants. You know, they say, why are we so low or why are we so high? And they feel very proud. I mean, this obviously changes over time, but it's a good indication of how the various entities are participating. On the next slide, I think I will pass this because it's too detailed. It's the classification by type of participants, and the next one too. We want also to attract not just universities and research centers, but industries, and particularly small and medium enterprises. So that's a list of them. Can we move on? What are these new slides? Okay, so the last program, 7 years, Horizon 2020, we had 66 participation from Ghana for funding of 13 million euro, rate of success 18, which is above average slightly, so good. And if we go to the next slide, at that time, University of Ghana was second, by the way, for the previous program. It was the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research was number one. And University of Cape Coast, are we people on the online from University of Cape Coast? So congratulations to them. They were third. Now, on the next slide, you see the figures for Horizon Europe. Again, it's not a full 7 years. We're about halfway. But you see that we have already more participation than in the previous 7 years and much funding. And on the next slide, you will see the ranking where University of Ghana now is first in front of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology and Ghana Health Services, but that's probably because of EDCTP. On the next slide, you will see the current ranking, but it's missing the names of some of the country here. Where you see Ghana is fifth, as was mentioned before, but not so far from Uganda, which is third. So there is a potential for Ghana to finish on the podium, if I may say, to just motivate you to participate further. Because only those who participate, obviously, are selected and funded at the end of the day. So, and there is no shame not to be selected because our program is very competitive. On the next slide, I think I'll pass that. Okay, now I'm going to describe very quickly those 24 topics which are open for competition. Our call was published in mid-May, and deadlines for application will be from mid-September to the end of the year. Mostly what we call one-stage procedures. So we ask for a full proposal, some two-stage, where we ask for an outline, and those selected outline proposal are requested to provide a full application. So I mentioned that there are 6 clusters earlier. So I will show you the topics by clusters. So the first cluster, health, the majority of the funding addressing issue of relevance for Africa is going through EDCDP. That's why you don't see much in this call. The funding is channeled through the EDCDP calls, and you will hear more later from Professor John, who is the chair of the Scientific Council of EDCDP. So there is one topic only, very specific. It's 50 million to fund 5 projects about developing antibodies for specific viruses, which are listed on the WHO list of pandemic threats. So it's very specific. If you don't work on those particular viruses, there's no point to apply, because the goal is to start stockpiling for diagnostics and possible therapeutics in case we have a pandemic in the coming years. So just to insist, when you read the title, you think, oh, I'm working on a new diagnostics on antibody-based. But if it doesn't address those specific disease, there is no point to apply, because you will be rejected from the first moment when the evaluators look at your proposal, because it will be out of scope. And they won't even read further the proposals. So it's very important to read carefully the description of each of these topics. So the rationale, why are we funding this? The scope, what should it contain? We're not that prescriptive in terms of what technologies, how to do it, but we give indications. And more importantly, the expected results and impact. You need to demonstrate that you will be in a position to deliver by the end of the project, because it is research innovation. We really want to bring the research to the market. So here, 50 million, 5 projects of 10 millions, addressing probably each project, one of the 5 viral diseases mentioned in the call. On the next slide, we're moving to the second cluster, which is called Culture, Creativity, Inclusive Society. So this is more about social sciences, humanities, economics. So here we have a topic dealing with preservation of cultural heritage. We have a topic looking at migration and climate, the impact of climate change on migration, in order to build resilience and enhance sustainability. Third topic on open strategic autonomy, economic and research security. Basically, Europe is thinking, although our program is open, since, as I show you, we are funding participants from all over the world, in some areas, we want to be a bit more closer. So we say as open as possible, as close as necessary. And this topic is about developing the basis for our strategy for doing this, balancing the openness with the need to preserve our autonomy and also mitigate foreign interference. On the next slide, we are moving to the third cluster called Civil Security for Society. Here, we're moving topics. We talk about disaster risk management and governance. So it's about improving this, and we mean by this natural catastrophes, but also possibly when you look at the second topic, chemical, biological, radiological emerging threats. So the first topic is more about the governance. The second one is more about developing the tools, the technologies, data to implement it at the cross-border level. It's a quick read-through because when you read each of these topics, it's much obviously more precise what we want the proposal to address. Now moving to the next, the cluster on digital industry and space. So that's, again, very broad. We have topics specifically looking at critical raw materials. This is probably of interest for Ghana, where we want to develop partnerships to, on one hand, ensure access for Europe, but at the same time, help African countries develop added value and value chains locally so they can capitalize on those raw materials. We have here a specific topic on artificial intelligence, generative AI for Africa. So there, most of the funding will go to Africa, and the goal is to fund consortia between different countries involving startups, research organizations, universities, addressing specific objectives in the health, in the sustainable agriculture, in the area of smart cities, and also for education. So the proposal can address one of these four objectives or all of them. And they are rather small projects. We want to fund up to 4 projects for about 1.5 million. And there will be mostly African participants, probably, who are only African participants. Then if we move to the next cluster, climate, energy, mobility, again, a very broad set of areas where we have, I mentioned earlier, developed a long-term partnership on climate change and sustainable energy that we want to continue to develop. So we fund platform, not just research, but the networking of the main actors, the experts, but also the funders in view to better align and coordinate the research programs which are launched by the various countries. So that's in the case, two different, in the case of climate action on one hand, and the area of sustainable energy. We have actually a call, I think I'll mention it later, specifically on West Africa on the climate mitigation. Then you have another topic, which is very specific about developing new on sustainable processing and refining of raw material to produce battery material, iron. So that's, again, very specific, where we, when you read this, you understand what is expected in terms of concrete outcome. And then moving to the last cluster, where we have the biggest, largest number of topic, food, bioeconomy, natural resources, agriculture, and environment. There, again, we have a mix of area, very specific, where we want to fund research projects, for instance, nutrition in emergency situations, where the goal is to develop ready-to-use supplementary food and ready-to-use therapeutic food, with project which in this case, it's one project for 8 million euro targeted budget. Then we have also a number of activities which are part of the partnerships we develop at European level that we want to extend by bringing African participants. That's in the case, for instance, of water management. The case also on working on the coastal communities. We have a big initiative with between Americas and Europe around the Atlantic, and it's mostly for countries bordering the Atlantic. So Ghana would be most welcome to participate on this topic, looking at innovative solutions for resilient and climate-adapted coastal communities. Then we have projects which are the last two implemented in a two-stage approach, and that's about developing living labs in the area of agroecology, or looking at soil health, again, developing living labs type of approach. So very concrete solutions where you bring the various actors, including civil society, in the development of the research. I think I've covered very briefly all of this. Obviously, you need to read, if you're interested in any of those topics, carefully the scope, the expected results, to see whether your current research interests are relevant and you have something to offer. Some of you are probably already contacted and working on proposals because of the networks. You can also coordinate yourself. Legally, it's possible. In practice, we have few successful applications being coordinated by a participant based in Africa, but legally, this is possible. We tend to encourage people not to do this because the procedure remains, although we simplify as much as we can, remains complicated, but it is legally possible. Best for you is to be invited to join a proposal, to negotiate well the part of the work that you will be doing and the money you will receive for this, and hope that this proposal will be selected. That's the best advice. And in most cases, this is what's happening. On the next slide, we will discuss this later. If we can move on. We just want to mention this call for those working on climate services for risk reduction. There is ongoing call with a budget of 15 million euro. That's funding mainly coming from individual member states, mainly in Europe, but also some of the West African countries. And you see the areas here more specifically. On the next slide, I want to mention some of the program we have in addition to Horizon Europe, Research Innovation. We have a number of activities to support higher education. So the most famous is Erasmus+, I will mention, and we will have a quick testimonial later. But we have also a program called Intra-Africa Academic Mobility Scheme with a call every year, where we fund consortia of universities, mainly from Africa. There is only one European participant normally. It's 4 million, 4 years to support short-term mobility of students and staff between the universities. It's like a mini Erasmus for Africa, funded by the EU. We work also on the harmonization of the African higher education quality assurance and accreditation, called Accra. We're in the 3rd phase, and the goal is to help Africa develop, set up an agency for our continental level, similar to what we have in Europe. On the next slide, just want to quickly mention that on the Erasmus, we have international credit mobility set for individuals, university to university, who are studying in a university, so from Ghana to somewhere in Europe, and use the credits as part of their diploma here, and vice versa. And there is funding for this, for supporting the subsistence and travel cost. Then we have the Erasmus Mundus Joint Masters. It's a little bit like the doctoral networks I was presenting earlier, but at the level of masters. Universities coming together, designing a common curricula for joint masters, and receiving funding for supporting a cohort of students coming from all over the world. And the students can obviously be from Ghana. So you students can apply to be part of a joint masters. It's a catalog. We have 150 ongoing joint masters, and there is an application for those interested, application form. Then we fund the capacity building projects for education. Those are projects where we don't fund students, but more the faculty working together to, and that's the project we will hear about, to either improve the content of the curriculum, the international dimension, the link with the need from the market, the skills improvement, digital education, different things. And then I think on the next slide, I'm coming to the end. Those are showing the number of projects we fund in Sub-Saharan Africa since the beginning of Erasmus. It's not just for Ghana, but as you can see, there is quite a lot going on. On the next slide, you can see you can have access to all this information. If I can have the next slide. And the next slide. Yeah, we have a portal where you can retrieve information on ongoing projects, depending on the subject, depending on the country, and you can seek information about what is being done. And then I think I'm coming to the very end, which is Accra, I already mentioned. I will not come back to this. All this information will be made available, but on the last slide, I think, listing a number of websites where you can find more information. This obviously was a quick run through. In summary, our program is open, and we remain committed to work with Africa when it comes to research and innovation. We are providing more funding than ever before. And this is the current program that will end in 2027. And we're currently preparing the next phase, the next 7-year budget for the EU. And there are many people calling for doubling of the budget for research and higher education. So all the investment you are making now in terms of understanding how our system works, it's complicated, but you will see it's not that complicated when you make the effort to go on the portal and you navigate a couple of times, you will see. But all this, if it doesn't pay back for this current call, there will be opportunities coming later as we are sending publishing calls on a regular basis. So I will stop here, and I think then we have a few testimonials. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much for updating us. I would like to acknowledge the presence of Administrator of the Ghana National Research Fund. Welcome. So we'll take the testimonial from Prof. Johnny Japon on the slides. Thank you.
Thank you. I didn't know I was supposed to give a testimonial, but I was requested a couple of days ago to give some insights to the EDCTP program. So I have to be doing next slide. Okay. Okay. Next slide. At least I'm happy to be here. I made this shirt sometime last year, but I've never had opportunity to wear it. So at least I'm happy that I had opportunity to wear this shirt. Thank you. As he said, EDCTP is one of the programs that is supported by the European Union, and our focus is health. EDCTP means European Developing Countries Clinical Trials Partnership. So the focus is developing products for health interventions in Africa. And it is a partnership, as is indicated, between Europe and Africa. Next slide, please. So EDCTP has been around for quite a while. This is actually the third program. It's been around for more than 20 years. And this is the third iteration of the program. We are currently preparing for the fourth iteration of the program, and it's in the works. But next slide, please. But basically, what the program does is to on funding research in large research settings, health research in large research settings. And it works with four main agenda in focus. The last one being the AU Agenda 2063. Then we have the partnership that Laurent referred to, which is the EU Innovation Agenda. Within the context of the global settings, we look at the EU Global Health Strategy, and then, of course, the Global Health Strategy as well. Next slide. So the vision is basically to strengthen global health security through research, and also to build capacity and strengthen the combat of diseases that plague mainly African countries. Next slide. The governance structure of EDCTP is such that there is a secretariat, which is currently based in Brussels, and the European Commission plays a very big role in the governing board. And there are two advisory bodies which help in the functioning of the EDCTP. One is the stakeholders group, which is made up of various scientists and program managers who have an interest, who can suggest the things that we need to research into. And then the scientific committee, which (10 years), 4 years as a member, 3 years as the vice chair and the last 3 years as the chair. And I'm actually, my last day as chair was 30th of June. So I'm no longer the chair, but I've taken the role of co-chair till December when I step down completely, right? So basically, we have the European Union, the member states, and then the third parties making a contribution to the annual program and even the financing of the project. Next slide, please. So we look at an integrated approach to disease control and prevention by, thank you so much, by ensuring that beyond the molecules and genes, we also look at the human interface of all these interventions. Next slide, please. So we are also beyond our main mandate. We also have the capacity to respond to emergencies. So when the Mpox emergency came up, we managed to put aside some funding to address the issues very quickly through proposals, emergency proposals that were launched. Next slide, please. So we do collaborative work with other research granting institutions like CEPI, which is focused on immunizations and vaccines. The Gates Foundation can also partner as Africa CDC and Globita, all contribute to specific topics. For instance, we may decide to do a call on the management of diarrheal diseases, and the Gates Foundation may decide that this is an area of interest to them, so they want to support a specific component, and then they bring their money through EDCTP to be funded. Next slide, please. We also do quite a bit of ensuring that there is equity in the research that we do. Sometimes when you only go by the standard of excellence, certain groupings get left behind. And in our processes, it has become very clear that just even because of the medium of application, Francophone and Lusophone countries get left behind. So there are special initiatives to engage them so that they can all be part of the processes, because diseases have no boundaries as far as the language is concerned. They don't speak French, nor English, nor Portuguese. Next slide, please. So over the last decades, 2 decades, this is the cumulative grants that have been awarded by EDCTP over the years. The ones in, is it MOVE or whatever? My color scheme is not very good. But those are monies that are still in the process of leaving. The grants have been made. And you know, a grant can be made for a period of about 3 years. You get a little bit of it in the first year, and then the second year you get another tranche. So these are committed funds, but the ones in MOVE haven't left yet. Next slide, please. So focusing on just EDCTP 2 and 3, you can see the quantum of money that has gone out over the last 10 years. Basically, to let you know that there is quite a bit of money to be applied for, and you are all eligible because Ghana has signed on to become a member. The arrangement is that every African country is eligible to receive funds But to do so, you must be a member of the ADCTP Association. And to be a member of the ADCTP Association, you must pay, I think it's now €2,000 a year to be able to get access into the group. Over the last 2 decades, the Ghana Health Service has been paying the €2,000 every year. And I think from last year or this year, the Noguchi Memorial Institute has started paying that money so that Ghana can continue to be a member. Next slide, please. There is a lot that has been achieved by EDCTP over the last 25 years. The first malaria vaccine was funded by EDCTP. The first pediatric formulation of the multiple episodes of malaria was also funded by EDCTP. There are many others. Next slide, you can see, I can share these slides with you so that you know the kind of achievements, combination treatments of uncomplicated malaria in children was funded by EDCTP. The first pediatric formulation of treating of HIV in childhood was also funded by EDCTP. So many trials have gone on, next slide, to demonstrate that, the next slide, we can move on the various achievements. Next slide, please. Right, okay. So beyond funding the research, one of the big things that EDCTP does is also capacity development. And capacity development is done in various forms. Funding of PhDs and even master's programs through the research grant. So if there is a consortium that has been given maybe a 15 million euro grant to do research on malaria vaccine, through that, we may end up with about 10 masters and another 5 PhDs, all built into the program. So capacity building is one of them. One of them is also the whole issue of ethics and grants management. EDCTP over the last 20 years has provided a lot of support for management of ethics committees and also grants management. I know for a fact that University of Ghana has benefited from that in the past. So over the last 20 years, we've funded over 600 clinical trials around the whole of Africa. Next slide, please. I think you're going back. At long last. Thank you. Okay. Where do I point? Towards you. Great. So the whole issue of epidemic preparedness is also one of the things that EDCTP supports in these days of smallpox, monkeypox or mpox. We don't want to call it monkeypox. Mpox, COVID, and a second wave of COVID and all that. There are opportunities to support such trials if you put together a very good and decent proposal. This map shows you where EDCTP money has gone over the last 20 years. You can see clearly that South Africa has received the biggest chunk of EDCTP funds in Africa. And then you see in East Africa, Kenya and Uganda. And then when you come to West Africa, it's Ghana, So the deeper the color, the more funds it is that has gone to the places. And Ghana has, I didn't manage to pull the data as far as the quantum of money for Ghana, but I know for a fact that the Noguchi has received some funding, KNUST has received some funding, UHAS has also received some funding, and then the Ghana Health Service Research Centers in Navrongo, Kintampo, and Dodoo have all received quite substantial funding over the last 20 years. Every 2 years, there is a forum that is held at which scientists are awarded for the good science that they do. There is some evaluation process and people are given awards. I mean, this year's highest prize came to one of our scientists from KNUST, and he won 50 million euro, and he can do whatever he wants with it. I'm sure many of you might know it was all over the place. Professor Alex Debra won that at KNUST for his work on doxycycline and its impact on adult filarial worms. Yeah, so he did quite a pretty good job. There has been 10 fora. Sorry, there have been 12 fora over the last 23 years, which means that there has been 12 awards. And Ghana has been privileged to win 3 times. So we are doing quite well. But it could be better if we had many more people applying for these grants. In terms of promoting equity and ensuring that we, the African scientists, play a very key role in everything that comes out there, we have some indicators for assessing. I mean, so for instance, the Africans have been lead authors in at least 71% of the publications that have come out, which is pretty good. So yes, it's an African and European partnership, but there are some partnerships that are very skewed towards where the money comes from, where they are always the lead authors. But in EDCTP, we ensure that that is not the case. So looking ahead, the program currently has over 680 million euro to spend. And there is a yearly plan, a yearly program of work, which is advertised. The scientific committee approves it, and it goes to the governing board for the final call to be made. The next call is expected in January, so look out for it. We've done the second look at the program. It's now going through a third review. The governing board will meet sometime in October, and once it is approved, it will be published in January for the year 2026. And I hope that many of you would have the opportunity to apply. In terms of the commitment of funding, this is how the distribution has been over the years. I mean, these slides will be available so you can have a look at them. I was given 15 minutes, so I need to be winding up. And this is, if you look at how the first one was disease-specific areas, and this one is looking at specific areas of coherence. So it's the same money looked at in a different way. So I hope that you would all have the opportunity to apply and get funding to support your research activities in your departments and schools and faculties. per the kind of interventions that have been made, where we estimate that we've averted over 4 million deaths, with over 300 million dollars, and we've been able to deliver interventions to over 5 trillion, over 5 trillion interventions. So multiplicity of it on a yearly basis. So this is a pretty good intervention. And what I really, really want to encourage you is to collaborate with one another. Many a time we tend to work in our silos, and we behave like class 1 children. You know, when we were in class 1, when we were writing the exams, you do this so that nobody can see what you have written. Science has gotten to a point where we need a lot of collaboration. And once we collaborate and share ideas, we are able to come up with better proposals and protocols. One of the things that we've been looking at is this whole issue of funding what is the right word? Inadequacies or cuts. USAID funding is a problem. Even within the European setting, they are beginning to increase their funding on defense and all that. So it's beginning to affect quite a number of programs that they support. I think it's about time that we began to reflect on how we look at supporting ourselves as countries. And it is my prayer and hope that the new administrator of the what is it called? National Research Fund will do justice, so that we don't always have to go outside to look for money to solve some of our very, very simple research questions. These are all the important things, but I think it's something that we can improve upon. If you want further information, if you scan this QR code, it will take you straight to the website and you get a lot more information. I'll be around to answer a few questions if necessary. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Japon. We will also have from Professor Adjei-Mensah, the newest professor, actually. He was Dr. Asat last week, and this week she's professor and our only ARISE fellow. Because of her, we are having this ARISE meeting in Ghana.
Thank you very much, Professor Dodoo. He's a brother. He's been part of my journey, so he knows where I'm coming from. Are my slides ready, please? So I have 5 minutes to just give a little bit of highlights on my projects, but put a bit of emphasis on the ARISE program. So, okay. Good morning once again, and you're all welcome to the University of Ghana. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So my name is Adjei-Mensah, and I'm a marine biogeochemist. My research area or my research interests cut across various areas in marine biogeochemistry and also coastal resilience. I do some work on carbon cycling. So currently we have a very large project called the Ocean Margins Initiative Project, which is looking at the role of the ocean in global carbon cycling. And the focus is on the Northern Gulf of Guinea, where we are working in Ghanaian waters. I also look at nutrient dynamics in coastal marine ecosystems and also paleoclimate reconstruction. I also work on or look at nature-based solutions for building coastal resilience. And then the last one is not a research area, but is an important area that actually drives most of the research that we do, building capacity. So in terms of some of my flagship projects, I'll start from the bottom because today is about ARISE. So I work on capacity building, like I said. I'll highlight that on my next slide. We have the ocean margins. Please go back. Okay. Oops. So I'm going to put it down so I'll just prompt you and then you move it. Okay, so we have the Ocean Margins Initiative project, then we have the BIOTA project. BIOTA is building capacity in ocean acidification for the Gulf of Guinea. Ocean acidification is the other twin of climate change that we've been silent about. Globally, our oceans are becoming very acidic, and as of 2021, in West Africa, we were not collecting any data on ocean acidification. BIOTA is one of those projects that has now enabled some countries in the Gulf of Guinea to start collecting ocean acidification data. Then the other one is the oyster restoration for livelihood and ecosystem protection, which is co-funded by the ARISE and National Geographic Society. Then the second is the Mankoga project, and I'm very privileged to have my partners. It's an European project, EU project. Dr. Holger Briggs is my co-lead on the project, and Joanna Stenova is also a co-PI on the project. So we happen to be ending that project this month, so they are in Ghana for the closure meeting. Then the final one is the ARISE project, which we are trying to use oyster shells as bioarchives for paleo-environmental reconstruction, because one of the major gaps when it comes to understanding how our ecosystems are responding to environmental change is the lack of historical data. And so what we are trying to do is to innovate these oyster shells so that we can take them, or they can take us back into time and be able to tell us how warm or cold our climate and our coastal ecosystems were some years ago. Next slide, please. In terms of, no, the next one. Career trajectory. So officially, I moved from the ECOP or early career ocean professional status last year. I joined University of Ghana in 2016 as a lecturer, and as an early career, and that is what pertains to most early careers. You need certain things to really help you advance or carve a niche for yourself. And one of that is funding and infrastructure. And so when I joined the University of Ghana, that was one of the main areas that my focus was on, because this is also a very novel or new area. And so we needed to develop that area. So I got in 2021, between 21 and 23, I became a Royal Society Future Leader African Independent Research Network Fellow. And through that, I got some grants to really start doing my work in biogeochemistry. And in 2022, I got the ARISE grant. Through these efforts, I got recognition from the American Geophysical Union as the recipient of the 2022 AGU Award for Research Excellence in Africa. I also became affiliated with the National Geographic Society, got my promotion to senior lecturer position between 21 and 2025. And today, just as my colleague announced, I have been promoted to the rank of an associate professor. Next slide. So what is the ARISE grants? ARISE is a research and innovation support program that is being implemented by the African Academy of Sciences in partnership with the African Union and the European Union. So just as I said, it targets early career professionals, sets them up, and each grantee is given an opportunity to build their research team. This morning, you've seen my students. They are in the white t-shirts. I have PhD students and master's students through the ARISE program. And this afternoon, we will be having a second session where we're going to highlight some of the research that the ARISE grantees are focusing on. And so I encourage all of us to be there as well. What is the application process? It was quite competitive, but through the support of my university and my mentors, Professor Chris Gordon is there, he's smiling. I was able to sail through the application. So there was a call for pre-proposals, and then the pre-proposals were shortlisted and were asked to submit the full application. Those who were able to pass the full application were then invited for an interview, in-person interview, which I participated in. And in the end, they awarded 30 fellowships, and one applicant was selected per country. So in Ghana, I'm the ARISE fellow here. Next slide, please. What are some of the early wins for us? Through the ARISE projects, we have been able to set up an isotope lab and a core archive here at the University of Ghana. We've funded 5 master's students and PhDs whose studies are ongoing. We have also been able to provide the first high-resolution carbon-13 and oxygen-18 records for the Gulf of Guinea, and we are looking at, we are still developing our model, but we are looking at integrating this into Earth models and then see how we can make some decisions for the future. Next slide, please. Okay, so in terms of tips for my fellow ECOPs who are online or who are here today. I think that when Dr. Bochereau was talking, he mentioned that really you need to align your proposal to fit the call. So every call has its thematic area. So that is one thing that you want to make sure that before you even start wasting your time, whatever idea you have properly aligns with the funder's goals or objectives. And you also need to ground your idea in strong evidence. And this is where works that we have done during our PhD becomes relevant, because that can become a pilot. You also need to demonstrate that there is that need or there is a gap that you're trying to address. We need to present clear work plan and timelines, because funders want to make sure that you're not going to waste their money. So you want to make sure that your timelines are very well defined, and also demonstrate that you have a team and the partnership to be able to execute the projects if funded. Finally, it is also important that you emphasize on sustainability. So beyond the projects, how can the projects be sustained beyond the funding that you are getting, and also the impact to society? In terms of career growth, just a few tips here again. It is important to own a niche, which starts with a step, but also you need to plan to expand that niche. Networking is very, very, very important, and I believe is one of the things that has really supported me in accelerating my career growth. You need to seek diverse funding. You may be rejected, but rejection doesn't mean that your world should come to an end. Keep trying. Mentorship is very, very important. I still go to my mentors for advice every now and then. And also, you also need to communicate societal value. So begin to address problems that pertain to society, and try as much as you can to connect your work to society. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The last one we will take is from Dr. John Xavier Eleblu from the Biotech Center, who is also on the Erasmus+. Thank you.
No. Good morning. Good. So, no, the first slide. First slide. Okay. So this is a testimonial on the EU project, Erasmus project at UG, at West Africa Center for Crop Improvement, WACI, and also the Department of Crop Science. Actually, Department of Crop Science gave birth to the West African Center for Crop Improvement. And so we are helping improve MPhil curriculum at the Department of Crop Science. I'm the director at the Biotechnology Center, separate from WACI. Now, a disclaimer before we move on. The EU always asks us to do this, that whatever we are saying here is our own views and not that of the EU. But that's the project logo that we designed after coining the title, Improving Study Programs in Ghana by Introducing Green Solutions, Sustainability Modules, and Digital Transformation. That's a project title. And so we said impression. And then that's the logo, and I think it's beautiful. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, so these are the project partners. We were very lucky and blessed by our current Vice Chancellor, who introduced our team, WACI, to some EU partners in the IDEA League, about 5 European universities. And we did a summer school with them. And that's what started the whole process. And we ended up with only 2 European universities that got us into this Erasmus project. That's Politecnico Milan in Italy, and then Aachen University in Germany. And Aachen brought on board 3 of their units, and the whole of Ghana, we had 3 different universities participating in this project. University of Ghana, which is the lead for the Ghanaian universities, and the University of Energy, Natural Resources, and the University of Environment, Sustainable Development. So this is the partnership that conceptualized the project and then won the grant. So the project team at UG, because we are coming from 2 different units, the program being improved, the curriculum that was improved, is hosted at the Department of Crop Science. So the head of department and a team from that unit also participated. And at the West Africa Center for Crop Improvement, the director and everybody was involved. Now, the background. As an emerging African country with increasing population growth and economic progress, Ghana has identified 3 areas vital for sustainable development. That is agriculture, water, and energy. And that's why we had those 3 universities. And we are focusing on agriculture, looking at a specific program, MPhil, plant breeding. And the other universities are focusing on water and energy. And you can associate the universities already. So that is the whole program. So the curricula that were developed or improved at the universities are listed down there. The aim is to strengthen agriculture, water, and energy sectors to help Ghana embrace trends, particularly economic globalization, but also address the growing social, economic, and environmental inequalities exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Next slide. These are the objectives. I will not run through all of them. And then this is very important. So we had about 8 work packages. This is how they are connected. The first one is a project management, where we look at the administration of the project. And key persons are focused on doing just that. Work package 2, we did a survey of the stakeholders for each of the academic programs. You know, before you design a program, you need to engage the employers of the graduates. You need to engage government and other agencies and all the stakeholders. So we did a lot of in-depth analysis, mapping, and also the surveys in work package 2. Work package 3 is where we actually modified curricula. Working with European partners, we improved on a lot of the curricula. Work package 5 involves workshops in Europe and some in Ghana, webinars online, where we were given enhanced capacity. We were trained on various topics. Work package 4 is gender and diversity. And then work package 5, capacity building. Work package 6, we developed MOOCs, massive online open courses, which we are developing based on the digital tools that we've been given and we've set up. You will see an example in my presentation. Work package 8 is looking at how we disseminate information from the project. And so this is the entire project overview. These 2 work packages are led by University of Ghana in the consortium. And so we focused on those 2, and we provide leadership and guidance in the consortium. That's how we work. So each work package is being led by a specific university. Now, outcomes. The first one is we've improved the curriculum for the MPhil program. We've done that. We did the survey, interviews, reports, and improved the curriculum based on the key recommendations given by the experts from Europe. We also visited the 2 other universities in Europe and had workshops and training programs there. Then we've also had a lot of pedagogical training on teaching and online teaching and the use of the digital tools. Web package 6, we are developing a lot of the MOOCs and then deploying the MOOCs. Web package 7 is quality control. So each activity has to be reviewed and given a green light that this meets the standards of the EU and our partners. Let's move on. This is our Vice Chancellor using the studio, the digital studio that we have now, and sending Christmas messages to stakeholders. This was made possible because of the EU project, which helped us to set up the entire studio and helps us to develop teaching materials using these digital tools. So basically, this is one of the key facilities now at WACI that's open to the entire university. Lecturers can develop materials, record themselves, and develop e-learning tools and be able to share these materials with their students. So thank you. This is a short presentation on this project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we go on to the hands-on, which Fana is going to take us through, the live interactive session, health-wise, I think a lot of the discussions are focused on health, with the chair, former chair, co-chair now, with all those issues. We cannot be sitting down for that long. So we take just some 5 minutes break. Because of time, the next program is starting at 1, so we will want to put everything together so that we can finish this workshop. Then the main Arise program will start. So we can take 5 minutes break to stretch ourselves, and then Fana will come on with the interactive session. Thank you very much.
So let's do something similar.
Maybe, yeah? Maybe, yeah, I think here should be fine. So that will. It's still fine.
Yeah.
Sure. Should I share my slide here or? Just a moment. Yeah. I made a mistake. Command C, right? So, system settings. You still have system. It will come to that side. Change the screen. Okay, to move this one. Finish it inside. Okay, so you go in presentation mode first. Presentation. So the only problem now is it's not easy. Yeah, it's going there instead of here. So what I'll teach you something that you have to do. Okay. Are you ready? Yeah. A little bit still. Yeah. So this right. Stop me right. And what you do is for your presentation, right? You come main screen. Yes, main screen. Then you go to the presentation. Why is it still here? No, this is the main screen. You should stop. Wow. It's not supposed to be that way. Okay. Why yours? You have keynotes. No. Is it? I didn't use it. It's just normal PPT. So where is the PPT file? No, the actual file. Where is it stored? It's on desktop. Desktop. Yeah. Okay. So then you have to use something else. Okay, let me just see. Where is it? This one, right? Yes. So this way, you have to use the keynote instead of yeah. What about if I want to shift to the website? So as soon as you want to shift, right? Escape, exactly. Yeah, and then go to the website. Should be... So that's when, as soon as it's time for the website, right? That's when you have to go and mirror your screen. Okay, so or I have to go here. Yes. System settings. Good. Come here. Mirror out. Then you go and click on the website. You are good to go. Okay, and let me check. Sure. Example. I think they can see it. Huh? Yeah, they can see. Some visibility. There is only shape. Damn it. Already.
Okay, Thank you very much. The break has given us opportunity to interact small. So we go on to our next session. Thank you. The interactions are very nice and they are going on, but we don't have all the time. We want to finish this session and have more time for interaction before the Arise meeting. So let's do that now when Fana will take us through. Please have your seats, those who have to join us. Yes, so that we start this interaction session and then finish quickly and go. Thank you.
Yes. Can get started. Good morning, almost good afternoon. It's really nice to be here. It's of course my first time to be here in Accra, in Ghana. Thank you, University of Ghana, for hosting this very important event. Special thanks goes to Professor David for organizing this, for all the logistics. I also thank the ICT people here for helping us a lot. My name is Yedilfana Setarge. As you can see, it's a very long name, but you can call me Fana. So I'm representing EURAXESS Africa. I'm a regional representative to this initiative, along with my colleague, Dr. Ahmed Malal, who is based in Tunisia. So for EURAXESS Africa, we are two now. And we do for the whole Africa, for the whole continent, not only for Ethiopia and Tunisia. So that's why actually I'm here today in Ghana to give you or inform you the available opportunities through the Horizon Europe program. So we'll tell you the available funding opportunities. Already start the Pillar 2 with Dr. Laurent in the morning. I will also briefly tell you about the Pillar 1, the MARIS Conduct Reaction, the European Research Council grants. These are mostly the mobility and also research for career development. And I also will tell you very important thing that how you can search for partner and identify a partner in EU member states or in associated countries. We have a tool that can help you easily find your potential partner to work together and apply for this, particularly for Africa Initiative 3 project. So in addition to my role as regional representative for EURAXESS Africa, I'm also a researcher and associate professor at Addis Ababa University. I'm based in Addis in Ethiopia. And I had also a chance to study my PhD at Denmark Technical University in Europe. After my PhD, I decided to return back home and work as assistant professor some 8 years back at Addis Ababa University. Recently, I also promoted to associate professor position. And now, thank you. I'm on my sabbatical and doing this EURAXESS Africa, and to promote and as much as possible with my colleague, we are trying our best to increase African researchers, entrepreneurs, and institutions' participation in this very huge European research funding, research and innovation funding program, which is the highest public funding program in the world. So I think for interest of time, I will really go very quickly about what is EURAXESS Worldwide is, since EURAXESS Africa is part of EURAXESS Worldwide. In EURAXESS Worldwide, at the moment, we have 9 hubs outside of Europe that tries to connect scientific collaboration between researchers who are based in Europe and researchers who are based outside of Europe. So our responsibility is to connect researchers, institutions in Africa with institutions and research who are based in Europe. So I'm sure you are now convinced by previous presenters that you are going to apply for Horizon Europe Africa Initiative 3, right? So we are really having some services that we can provide to researchers, institutions in Africa to really actively participate in this program. So all services of EURAXESS are free of charge. So you can write an email, you can call us, you can participate in our online info sessions, in our practical sessions. We go through the EURAXESS portal, we go through EU funding and tender portal is where you find also these proposal templates. And there are so many services that we provide. I will explain later in my slides. So these are the 9 hubs outside of Europe. I mentioned we have a hub in North America. We have a hub in Latin America, in the Caribbean, of course, in Africa. We have in India, in Asia, in China, in Japan, Korea. And so we actually help researchers, institutions outside of Europe to connect with researchers who are based in Europe and do something good, since most of these topics are global challenges. Right, so to address this challenge, to tackle this challenge, we need to bring the stakeholders from all over the world and participate in different core topics and tackle or address some of the issues that are already prioritized by European Commission or EU member states. So what I would like to mention here is that in EURAXESS, we're able to build the largest researchers database, which consists of more than 150,000 researchers, innovators in our database. Among these, 20,000 are from Africa. And I was actually checking how many are from Ghana. We have more than 500 registered contacts from Ghana. I hope after this workshop, we will have more contacts from Ghana who are going to be regularly informed by our team about the latest information on funding, on a lot of other information that we directly get from the European Commission. I would say that EURAXESS Africa is one of the youngest hubs among these 9 hubs in EURAXESS worldwide, which is launched in 2022, just 3 years back. I joined just last year, my colleague, Dr. Ahmed, and I hope we are really doing a very good job. We travel to many African countries. We organize many webinars that definitely helps researchers and organizations in Africa to participate. So it's now become the center platform for EU-Africa research and innovation collaboration. And we are very happy that we also participate in our platforms for this workshop. And we have, I think, around 200 online participants from different parts of Ghana today, in addition to what we have in person. So these are the main tasks of EURAXESS Africa. We manage and develop EURAXESS Africa network, as I already mentioned. We support for Africa research. We provide information, we provide advice and support career development activities. We organize capacity building training workshops. We promote European research opportunities to African. And last but not least, we're reinforcing the networking with all research and innovation African actors. So it's already mentioned in Dr. Laurent's presentation. I will not go to the detail. This is just the structure of the Horizon Europe. They have Pillar 1, Pillar 2, and Pillar 3. At the moment, we are promoting only Pillar 1 and Pillar 2. Pillar 1 is excellence in science. It includes the prestigious mobility program, which is the Marie-Skoldak reaction. It has a doctoral network, PhD opportunity scholarship. It has a postdoctoral. It has staff exchange, co-fund, and citizen. It was already mentioned by Laurent. We have also another prestigious individual researcher program. That's ERC, European Research Council grants. I'm happy to mention that one Ghanaian researcher who have won one of these prestigious grant as a starting grant with 1.5 million that stands for 5 years, who is currently in France for his career as a principal investigator, as a start grant for the ERC, and it's really a good opportunity also for him and for the team members. So Horizon Europe is open to almost all countries. It's a European Union initiative, right? But it actually invites also invites also other third countries to involve or to participate in all of these programs. So the legal entities who are based in Europe, I mean, when I say in Europe, in EU member states, these are the 27 EU member states countries, and there are also other 20 associated countries. As already Laurent mentioned, we have 2 from Africa, Tunisia and Egypt. Egypt very recently joined the associateship, and we also expect Morocco to recently join the Horizon Europe as associated countries. Nothing but they contribute some money to this initiative, like what the Europeans do. Another important thing that I would like to mention is that African nations in general, as low and middle income countries, we are 100% entitled, or we can be a beneficiary, or we can be a direct beneficiary of this program. So our mobility, our research, training can be supported or can be funded, or all expenses will be covered from the project. This is not the case for high income countries, right? So you should also consider this to apply for Pillar 1, Pillar 2. We are eligible as a third country, like in institution like in Ghana. So how African researchers, African organizations participate, means or ways of participation. We can participate in 3 different ways. One, as individual researcher, as a scientist, as a scholar, you can directly apply to the MSA doctoral network. I'm explaining because I see a lot of youngsters, young researchers here. If you would like to study your PhD in Europe or in associated country, you can directly apply. You can directly submit your proposal. It's a bottom-up approach. You are free to choose any kind of topic in all disciplines. There is no restriction on the topics on discipline. So as an individual researcher, you can apply for PhD scholarship. You can apply for postdoctoral opportunities. You can apply for ERC, European Research Council grants. But unfortunately, the staff exchange is not for individual, right? This is only for the institutions, for the capacity building, the institutions. But these 3 are individual researchers from, for example, University of Ghana can directly apply through the portal. So researchers of all nationalities are welcome to participate in these 3 Horizon Europe initiatives. The second way to participate is as an organization. Organization may represent by professors, by faculty members, right? So you need to be part of the consortium. Then if you succeed with the project, you can recruit 10 to 15, for example, PhD students for doctoral network. And similarly for postdoctoral fellowship, so that you can recruit researchers from third countries, researchers from all over the world. So the requirement here, as part of the eligibility criteria to be a member of the consortium, there must be actually at least 3 entities from Europe, member states, or from associated country need to come together. What I said, number 3, the minimum number is 3 legal entities must come to this consortium. If this minimum is satisfied, on top of these 3, then you can add as many as possible the participation from third countries, right? So for example, in Africa Initiative 3, as the name also indicates, from Africa, right? So again, here we need 3 institutions from Africa. So in total, 6 entities must come together to apply for each of these. For example, these 24 call topics that were launched this morning by Dr. Laurent. So you need to think really very big consortium, not only 1 or 2 or 3, since this money is really a huge money and the scope is also very large. So you need to really bring many stakeholders, many partners on board and do part of, do this research. Okay, I have to go very quickly. The third and the simplest one, for especially for individual researchers to apply for PhD and postdoc, is just visit EURAXESS portal. In EURAXESS portal, all the EU-funded projects must have published their vacancies. So you see a lot of vacancies for PhD, for postdoc, for research, for professor position in Europe in associated countries. So it's very quick to directly contact the project PIs and involve in that project. So at the moment, we have more than 10,000 vacancies on EURAXESS portal. Maybe we'll go through it later. Yeah, I will not repeat this. Yeah, this is the most important thing. The MSA nutshell, very quick information. Organizations like University of Ghana or research institutions, even non-academic sector, NGOs, small and medium enterprise can also participate in MSA actions. Third country organization may receive funds, may host researchers from outside of the country, may also send their researchers to academic or non-academic in Europe or in associated countries. So especially for certain countries like countries in Africa, including in Ghana, we can participate in all of these MSA initiatives. Researchers, these are open to all researchers of all nationalities and all scientific disciplines. Some limitation depend on the action, maybe for example, for PhD, as individual researcher, you may not have another PhD. Second PhD is not allowed, for example. It should be your first PhD, right? So these are for doctoral network, for researchers. I think since I'm going to send you these slides, maybe for the interest of time, I just skip some of this. For postdoctoral, these are some of the criteria, some of the conditions that you need to satisfy. 4 to 2 years of the duration of the project you can spend in certain countries. For example, you can do your research, part of your research in Ghana. The rest should be, of course, in Europe. But these are just some of the criteria. But as already mentioned, it's not only for the universities. People outside of universities, outside of research can also participate in MSA, as you can see here. So this is for staff exchange conditions for organizations. As I already said, for the consortium, it's always minimum 3 EU entities must come together, plus third countries. Third country means including countries in Africa, like in Ghana. So I think this, I think, maybe very important. For staff exchange, secondment is possible, right? It's for a short stay period, maybe between 1 to 12 months of stay in Europe or in associated country, maybe in one or maybe several stays is also possible. And all the expenses will be covered from the project. As I already said, for low and middle income country, the project can cover all required expenses. However, at the end of the secondment, you need to return back to Africa. You need to return back to Ghana, like what we did. Many of us did this because it will really definitely help for knowledge and skill exchange and support the development of your country. So this is for ERC. We have a starting grant, starts from 1.5 million for 5 years to 7 years of experience is required here. After you earn your PhD, you need to have at least 2 years of experience to participate in a starting grant. In consolidated grant, it is a 2 million funding. Its duration is up to 5 years, but 7 to 12 years of experience after your PhD. So it's now getting more advanced, and it requires the record, excellent scientific record. have advanced grant, we have synergy grant. What's special in the synergy grant is that 2 to 4 PIs can involve here, and one of them may be from third country, maybe from Ghana as a PI. The rest is only one, and it should be also in EU member state or in associated countries. Here, we participate, but we need to have, or you need to get hosting institute in Europe. That's it. And at least 50% of the duration of the project must be stayed in EU member state or in associated countries. The rest can be actually done part of a project in your country, let's say here in Ghana. So it's also another good opportunity if you would like to do part of your project in your country. This is a very important thing. I receive many questions, many comments from researchers like you. The Horizon Europe is very competitive. Why I should waste my time? But if you look at the results, the outcome of the previous program is really very promising, very promising. You shouldn't really give up before you apply to it. If you consider the previous work program, Horizon 2022, more than 2,297 African researchers from 45 different African countries participated in this program with 150 projects, 180 different, from 186 different organizations in Africa. If you consider the halfway of the Horizon Europe, from 2021 to 2024 alone, 485 researchers from Africa, from 33 different countries already participated. I already get the data for Ghana. I just received yesterday night from the European Commission, how is Ghana participate in MSA initiatives in this mobility program. And I get that 6 MSA district organizations have participated from Ghana. And with this, 24 researchers are involved. So this number is really good number. And I hope after this workshop, this number will definitely increase. And that's the purpose of this organizing the workshop. So another important slide is this one. This is the calendar for 2025. All of them are open at the moment. Some are already open beginning of the year, some are open last month, but the deadline, for example, for co-fund is 25 June, for staff exchange is 8th of October, for postdoctoral fellowship is 10th of September, and for doctoral network is 25th of November. So I think you have enough time to write a proposal, what you want, and apply for it. But for the timeline and for the update and for more information, I really suggest you to go through the MSA website as well as the EU funding and tender portal. So we have a website, we have a social media. I think most of you already know EURAXESS Africa, and we'll come to you at least once a week with information about funding, networking, and mobility. So if you're not yet a member of EURAXESS, it's very simple to subscribe. It's also free. So just click on that yellow highlighted text and fill a couple of questions. Then if you have put your email, then definitely you will get our information frequently. Yes, I already said we have more than 10,000 jobs, including PhD and postdoc at the moment. You can fine tune with important words and then go through it. Yeah, another issue is that to participate in a Horizon Europe of any of these initiatives or programs, you need to have an EU account. I think most of you may have already EU account, the login account for EURAXESS. If you are for EURAXESS, of course, you should work for the EU funding and tender portal. So I think the purpose of this hands-on is actually just to have, to inform you to have the EU login account and put your complete profile for free. Your profile and your institute profile. Of course, top management will put the university's profile in the EURAXESS as well as in the EU funding and tender portal so that you can be visible. You can be easily reached out by people who are writing a proposal in Europe or in associated countries so that you can easily be connected with them and participate as a partner in of the projects that are upcoming projects. As I already mentioned, we have a section that helps you connect partners, researchers or organizations. We have at the moment more than 16,000 researchers and entrepreneurs in our profile, in our EURAXESS database, so that you can search, you can email them, you can call them, you can connect and discuss about your research. There are 16,000 researchers from Europe and all over the world, including from Africa. In terms of the organizations, surprisingly, we have more than 500,000 organizations who already put their profile on the EURAXESS website. So this actually helps you to directly get the contact points, the contact person of that organization, so that you can explain what the idea you have and what you really would like to do with that institute. So in EU funding and tender portal is a place where you find calls for proposals. It's also a place where you register your organization. Your organization must register in EU funding and tender portal to participate. And you need to also get PIC code, participation identification code. Each institute must have this PIC to involve. Of course, if you have EU projects in that institution, you have PIC number, but you may need to ask people in research directors, or maybe you can use a portal to know the PIC number of that institute. Because in part A, you are requested to put what is the PIC number, what is the participation identification number of your institute. So I think we can do that also here maybe. Here is the participation register. You can search your institute and get the PIC, if you can see it here. Or if it is new for EU project, you can register as a new organization and you need to pass some procedures, then finally you'll get validated or approved by the concerned body from European Commission. So that for one institute, you need to have only one number. That is a validated number. So before you write or sign an agreement, you need to settle this registration issue of your organization. Yeah, another issue I already says partner search. In EU funding and tender portal, there is also a partner search section that helps you also find your partner in a specific program. Not only program, in a specific core topic. For example, there was mentioned by Dr. Laurent about health topic, right? You can go to the site and see how many institutions and what institutions, who institutions express their interest in participating in that core topic, so that you can directly also connect or you also express your interest, or you can also contact with the organization who already expressed their interest in that core topic. So that may be the easy way to partner in that core topic with the European Union researchers or organizations. Another website or the database that I would like to introduce to you is that CORDIS. All of the EU funded projects for the last 3 decades are documented here. So you can see who is participating, what was the topic, who was the funding amount, and the outcome of the project, any kind of very quick facts. The fact sheet about each of these projects that have been funded for the last 30 years is available in this website. So that also gives you an idea to whom you can collaborate, right? You can see the contacts, you can institutions, a lot of the important information about that project. So this is also free to go through it. For example, in this project, how many participants are there? Can you see it? I just want to give you some insight how many participation is. 20, right? Yeah, so you may think something like this if you're trying to coordinate one particular project. So these are our bosses in headquarters. We get information directly from the program coordinator in Brussels. As soon as we get that information, we disseminate to our contacts in Africa for these 20,000 researchers and entrepreneurs about any kind of information. And we also collaborate with Dr. Laurent from Africa, European Union Delegation to Africa Union, and the policy officer, desk officers from Brussels. Yeah, we have been in many workshops in Ethiopia since 2022. We have been in Kenya, we have been in Senegal a couple of times, we have been in Cameroon, we have been in Morocco again a couple of times. We have been in Tunisia as well. We have been in Egypt, we have been in South Africa, we have been in Nigeria last year for a couple of times. We have been in Rwanda last year and this year. Now we are in Ghana. This is our physical events plan for 2025. These are our webinars. Even today, I may say a postdoctoral fellowship webinar is going on in our YouTube, on our Zoom. And I would like to say that just join us, EURAXESS Africa community, and let's do something good for our region, our continent, and our country. These are some additional resources. And I think since we don't have really much time, I just would like to go through very quickly on the website. Don't worry, maybe 15 minutes or something like that, we can finalize. But you know, that gives you the most important thing, how go through it. Let me try to mirror it. Oh, I think we are also asking you to come with your laptop. So maybe now is the time to open your laptop and do some very quick hands-on together. If you don't have it, it's okay. You can see it from the screen. Just in any of your browser, just type EURAXESS. It's coined from two words, Europe and, can you guess? Europe and access. In terms of research, you can access Europe. And we give you information about research in Europe. So if you type it, then you can click on the first item. Yes. For fascinating thing, let's start with the job and opportunities. You see, search for jobs. So you can filter by offer type, for example, hosting or funding or job offer. You can specify by country. There are 59 countries in our database. You can search by research field, research profile, sector, position. For example, the quick one is position for youngsters. If you are looking for PhD position, for example, PhD position, just click on PhD position and apply, filter, and see how many PhD positions are currently available on EURAXESS portal. There are more than 1,220 PhD positions, and go through them, right? PhD in Paradise, University of Jacob of Paradise. You go through assistant professor, no, should be a PhD. PhD position must be selected. Then maybe we can click on available one, the Horizon Euro program. Let's check. Yeah, you need to be systematic. Otherwise, you know, this is like ocean. There's so many things. There's lot of information. So you need to be more specific to it. Okay. Oh, I said this is job offer. That's why. Yes, one fellow for PhD student in economics. I think we are in economics college. I see there is economics here. Huh? So maybe it's a good opportunity if you like to do your PhD in economics, and the first option may be good. It's in Portugal. And if you click it, then further you get a lot of other information about this particular PhD position. So you can scroll down. Okay, so you need to be systematic how you really fine tune your search. So this is for the position and living and working in Europe. If you really succeed in any one of these projects, then if you want to know more about Europe and how to go there and the travel and living, every other information you can get from the section and career development for researchers. You can get some YouTube videos and some recorded videos here. And or if you want to go directly to EURAXESS Africa, then you need to go to EURAXESS Worldwide. Here, then among the 9 hubs, you see that's the middle, EURAXESS Worldwide Africa. Then this is where you can subscribe to our newsletter, our flash note, our information. So if you go down here, you see our news, you see our events, including the one that we are having now. Okay, so if you click on the previous events, you see the presentation materials, you see the YouTube videos, many other documents that helps you really know more about that specific call. Okay, so I would like to show you here one thing, the partners. Browse the partnering tool. For example, if you want to meet member of EURAXESS as researcher or for organization, you can click here. But you need to have first a login account. How many of you have already a login account or EU account? How many of you have EU account? Can you log in to your account? Excellent. But I think all of you should have. If you really want to participate, you need to have a EU login account. I prepare the procedure, how to create a login account and how to improve the profile, your profile in EURAXESS in EU funding and tender portal. Definitely you will get it, all those documents after this workshop. But it's not really that much difficult to have a login account here. It's very easy. I know most of you are already PhD, most of you are already master. So it just give you the place where you can log into it. So it's simple. Where you find it? On top right of the EURAXESS or EU login, EU funding and tender portal, you see login, right? You see login. If you have already an account, just log in with the username and the password. If it is a new, then you create a new account. Then you need to really enrich your profile. You need to be more systematic. I don't want to tell you this because you know it already, right? You need to write very well your profile. You need to also put your picture, your image, smiley image. Huh? All right. So next, after you have your own profile, then you need to link your profile with your organization profile, right? Otherwise, nobody can recognize you as a member of that organization unless you linked it in the EURAXESS. So that way you can really visible by others and call for partnering. Okay, so let's go to the most important website, which is EU Funding and Tender Portal. You please type together with me, EU Funding and Tender Portal. Yes, this is the first one. Click on the first one. So this is a place where you get a template. You search for partner, you register your organization, and you get many information about the previous projects. So this is the landing page for EU funding and portal. I think everybody must have it. So like before, here at the top right corner, you have sign in. So again, if you have already EURAXESS account, you use the same account here because both of them are European Commission portals or websites. So they are merged. Okay, so sign in here and put your profile and connect with your organization. That's it. That's the first thing, so that can be visible. Otherwise, it's not really publicly active unless you validate. So let's go quickly. Under funding, I have calls for proposal, and let's search those 24 calls. By the way, there are not only 24 calls, there are more than 500 calls only for Work Program 2025. But this 24 to EU-AU cooperation and partnership that gives you more chance for African organizations to participate, and the success rate is going to be also high. Otherwise, you can still eligible to apply for other Work Program 2025s. But this one is just shows to the Africa Initiative 3. But it shouldn't be limited to this. That's what I would like to say. Yeah. So let's go to the calls for proposal. Because I already said it's like ocean unless you systematically managed it. See, If you know the code identification acronym, you can paste it here. Laurent gave you already for the 24, right? You just copy them and paste it here in search, and directly it links to that call topic. If you don't know it, then you can go through one by one. The work program period is for sure 2021, 2027, right? This is the Horizon Europe program. Yes, then again from here, you choose Horizon Europe program. How many calls are there? 3,350. You probably apply for one or two, right? You can't go more than this because of time constraint and many other things. So let's go to the calls. So you need to know this acronym or the call type identification code. Each topic has code like this. So we are talking about Horizon. Let's go directly to the cluster 1, which is health. The first cluster, right? Among the 13 call topics, one is actually associated to the Africa Initiative 3, which is about the pandemic, antibodies and derived proteins, right? For these 9 viruses, he was mentioning very clearly in the morning. So let's go to the Horizon, then health. Then it says 2025, right? So I need the currently open call. If you really want to see the closed ones, it still is available here, but we are not interested in the closed ones at the moment. So we click on the submission status. It should be open now. Okay, so the open ones are around 500 calls, but I think we already specified here health. Oh, sorry, Horizon. Horizon. Who can guess? CL6 means? CL6 means cluster 6. So it's about food, agriculture, environment, natural resource, bioeconomy. Those 9 core topics are among this 24 one belongs to the cluster 6. If you are interested in cluster 6, you need to click here. But actually just, I would like to show you only on the health. Yes. So on the health, we have 13 topics. Among these 13 topics, we go for the topic that's related to the Africa Initiative 3, that is disease 03, if you remember it. Disease 04, you need to go down. Can I say it? Care 01, so you need to really know which. Yes, it's top. So this is right, the identification code, Horizon Health 2025-01, disease 03 is development of antibodies and antibody-derived proteins for the prevention and treatment of infectious disease with epidemic potential. So now I am on the right topic, call topic that's related to the Africa Initiative 3 from health, from cluster 1. So you can get more information about it here. It's general information. It's a single step, single stage, open on 22 May, closed, deadline is on 16th of September. So go down, please. Topic description. It has a lot of information here, okay? Unless you go through it thoroughly, it will be really very difficult, right, to write a proposal. So you need to go there. You need to also see here. The topic destination is tackling disease and reducing disease burden 2025. And what are those diseases? What are those viruses? And what are the scope? A lot of information you can get it here. And you need to paraphrase this, right? These wordings, these phrases in your proposal. Otherwise, it doesn't really align with the call. Unless it aligns with the call, it's very tough to also get secure this project. You see, expected impacts. You need to know the expected impact. It's already, pre-written or pre-decided by European Commission experts. So you need to really align everything with this and also other relevant information here. You see the budget, it was also mentioned that it is 50 million. It's a single stage for each project. You may get, it's 5 projects. Each means 10 million, right? It's a really huge project. So you need to have a large number of partners here. How many organizations or persons express their interest in this particular call topic? You can see it here, 53. So you can search and you can also identify among these 53 that are very much interested to you guys or to your consortium. So this is actually, you can also put your profile here as individual or as organization. So I think after this workshop, I would like to see universities, research institutions from Ghana who express their interest in at least in health and other 24 topics, other 23 topics. This is just one of them. Okay, so these are the institutions. You can check if this organization or institution here at the right side. Most of them are organizations and some are actually here, for example, is a person who expressed interest. So let's see maybe just one organization, for example, the University of Barcelona, what they are doing there. Do they have EU projects, experience? Or what expertise, what infrastructure they do have, just you can go through it and you decide if you want to contact them or not. Okay, they have already 615 projects ongoing and maybe already accomplished projects. And what are these? You can also the list of the projects. So before you write them an email or contact, just you need to go through and get some highlights about that organization. If there is 0 project, that institution may not be the right institution for you to collaborate, right? So the profile is important from EU side in addition to, okay. So I think this is how you express your interest and also communicate organizations, researchers who have already expressed their interest in that particular call topic. If you go down, you will find a place where you submit your proposal. Let's go back. You see all the details. So this is start submission. If you click here, that means you just started the submission, and there are 2 parts, right? Part A and Part B. In addition to these 2, there is also annexes. So in Part A, you provide general information, administrative information about the participants, about the researcher, about the organizations that are involving in that project. Okay, in 5 minutes, I will try to finalize it, but before that, the chairman is standing. Okay, I hope I will get some 5 minutes. I will give you my slides, so I think that will give you more information on the process. Yes. Can you see it? Okay, I think, do I do the same problem? Remove this. It's good. Well, just very quickly, don't worry. Yeah, okay. Yes, thank you very much. So this is how you enter or create a EU login. This is the procedure. Let me go very quickly to the end. Yeah, see, so this explains everything that I have been saying. This just took example of the cluster 1 from health. So these are the steps. Yes. From the start to submission, I will go very, very quickly. Where do you start? So you need to read the call very thoroughly, have an excellent and innovative project idea first, then take the call as a checklist to your idea. Can you express your idea very clearly? You need to make sure this. Think ahead, what is the donor's policy and what is the expected from your project? It's already explained in the EU policy, in the EU strategic plan, so you need to really go through the things. The core steps are plan regular consortium meetings, online meetings, for example. Prepare all necessary documents in Part A. the administrative detail, project acronomy, keywords, abstract declarations, participation data, general budget information. In part B, it actually requires this more of technical, more of the scientific part. Okay, the impact, the implementation would be expressed here. And finally, cross-check the validation, and then you submit it. So these are the steps. You will check it later on. Where you start? Where are you planning to start, submit this project? The deadline is mid-September, right? So we need to start now. We don't have really much time. There are a lot of things to do on the proposal development, so you need to go through these things. So I think I would stop here, and I will definitely send you all the relevant documents, including the presentation that I had and the presentation of Dr. Laurent, and also the testimonials, maybe by tomorrow. Thank you very much for listening. I'm done.
Okay, there's a demand to have a group photograph. I don't know how we can do it, but I think we will figure it out if it can be done here. But I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the University of Ghana to thank all of you for being here, and our partners from the European Commission, Laurent, also Fana, policy advisors in the EU Commission in Brussels. Some have joined us, some couldn't join us. But I believe it's been a wonderful session. And we at the Research and Innovation Directorate here at the University of Ghana, we are committed to helping our PIs, sort of, and those who are going to become PIs, faculty, staff, to acquire more funding, because that is the lifeline of the work that we do. And we are here to support you in any way, anyhow. Also, those of you joining us, Ghana has moved on a very bold step that we've been looking at for a very long time. And this year it has actually happened to have a national research fund. And I believe that now that the administrator is here, we are going to work very closely with that to be able to bring our faculty closer to you, to also work in partnership to have funding to be able to do what national research funds are capable of doing. So we will continue to work with you, the ministry as well, and the Ghana government, and our partners everywhere. We will also work with our partners in other universities who have joined us online across the country and across the globe. It's been a wonderful session here. We will have the next conference, which is happening, which is the ARISE program, which is hosted by the African Academy of Sciences in collaboration with the European Union. It will be very important for you to be there, because you are looking at unpacking the pact for the future. Today, there will be announcements of the funding opportunities that we are going to have. There is an announcement of the ARISE call that is going to be announced here. I'm just giving you some heads up. There will be something with the Africa CNRS call that is going to be there. There are exciting initiatives that will be announced at the program from 1 o'clock. The opening ceremony is starting at 1 in the main auditorium. So if you still have time, please join us in this very exciting moment. Then from tomorrow, we'll have the other sessions at the Accra International Conference Center, where we'll have a presidential dialogue, and also some memorandum of understanding will be signed to support all these pacts. So please do follow us and join us as we bring exciting moments to you. Thank you very much for your attention. So I think the photography we'll try and then organize ourselves to take a photograph. I don't know whether we should take it in front. Should we take it outside, or we take it here? Photographers, where do we take it? Here. on the staircase, right? Please, ushers, help us do that quickly so that we will run to the next session in the auditorium. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Should I end there?
Yes. Close. Yeah. Say thank you and
He will send us the.
yes.
Yeah,
Definitely.
this is my brother who applied.
Really?
Yes, no,
Excellent.
my brother.
Nice.
Also, please, if you are here, just we will leave this room to the auditorium. So you have to go with your belongings and then carry all those things along because the session is ended for this morning. Thank you.